Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to more BTS series Europe action here. We're getting ready to hop into what's just game number two. Game number two for probably myself and Blaze here of the Dota season now. We have tried our best to shake off all the rust from game number one. We've made some adjustments to all the fancy configs and cogs and knobs, and hopefully things sound a bit more pleasant to your ears now. So, moving on, Team Empire versus Broodmothers. Blaze, Broodmothers did it, man. Game number one, they stretched it out. We were in for a nice little 1 hour treat, and they pulled out what was a bit of an upset there. Empire now, what do we expect from them moving into game number two? Because I got to tell you, what I was expecting overall was not too much of what we saw in game one. This is classic European, what I expect, like face rush aggressive style Dota, and they played things like meticulous with an AM in game one, Blaze.
Absolutely. The way that I saw it is that the supports that were picked up early in the draft were enablers for really hard carries. So they're like, okay, well, we've got an ET, we've got an Omni Knight, and we're like, yeah, let's go late. We got this. So with these really good late game supports that can amp up the potential of these harder carries, they're like they kind of play the drafts out. They said, okay, well, we're very comfortable in this position. Aloha Dance likes to take it late in a lot of situations, and obviously Focus is pretty good on that side as well. So I really do think that the drafts are able to fight at all stages of the game. But in that case, yeah, we got to see a little bit of a larger scaling late game Dota with the 60-minute action. Now we're actually going to see the drafts flipped a little bit here. Empire hating themselves for not getting the Purge up online fast enough as well to deal with the Omni Knight. They're going to pick up a Shadow Demon. Very versatile. Enables Drow strats, which we've seen from them a couple of times. And we're going to be seeing Sand King and Oracle on the other foot. They're actually going to be picking up for the side of Broodmothers.
They did that in the first game as well. They're like, we like what wings do, and we're going to do the wings thing. I can't remember what it's called. I feel like I'm doing a disservice, but someone recently posted up a huge, meticulous breakdown about the wing strategy during TI and their drafting habits. And it was really interesting data to look over. I unfortunately don't know the link or the topic off the top of my head that someone had posted, but they had talked about how for wings, Oracle was their go-to hero. Mm-hmm. Like, I believe they said 7 times pulled out, 7 wins, and was frequently paired with the Sand King.
Whenever they picked up Sand King, they always had Oracle already.
So what is it that makes them a good duo? Is it about them, or was it just coincidence?
I mean, the fact that they're already comfortable with Oracle and they're going to pick it a lot definitely makes it more coincidental to already have it. But I do think that these heroes pair really well together. I feel like they're all about the burst magical damage. You get 1 or 2 Purifying Flames out in an SK combo, and a hero that it would have been dropped down to 20% is just straight up dead.
Oh, yeah.
And being able to start a fight with a quick pick like that is immense. So
it sets so much at the start, too. You get an Oracle right away, it's like, listen, you're not going to do Darkseer now.
Nope.
You're not going to be doing this huge chunk of pools, and now you force teams like Empire like this in the second phase. Now you got to make sure you have your Huskar band out. He just offers so much open-ended possibilities that once you see the Oracle come out, you got to make sure you have all your bases covered. And then you don't know if maybe you need to get something for the Oracle specifically. I'm not saying you have to go as far as get like an AA, but do you have to acknowledge him in a sense by providing a silence or a way to kind of nerf down his sustained capabilities or his way to bail someone out with a false promise, how long do you take it before you address the Oracle directly?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult. He just shuts down so many heroes, and it's not really one that you can just pick a single hero and be like, okay, well, the Oracle is irrelevant. Whereas, like, one thing that Oracle is great about is shutting down these really popular heroes that do burst magical damage. Mirana is a big one. Like, if Mirana lands a 5-second arrow, that's a fight, but then there's a false promise. If she jumps in and does the Starstorm combo, you've got your Fate's Edict. Like, you've got really good answers to some of these very popular bursty meta heroes. In this case, the Morphling, they're respecting it enough to still ban it out, but you can deal with Morphling, you can deal with Mirana with just something like a Fate's Edict, very simply. It disables so many really good pickups and enables so many good heroes that they're afraid of the Huskar. They're going to be afraid of the harder carries that we get buffed up by the Oracle, and you can expect that Broodmothers are going to bring a lot of aggression this game.
Aloha Dance Luna. Do we think that's a thing? I mean, with Morphling now being taken off the table, if you're Empire, do you go for what some of the best one-position options pairing with a Shadow Demon are? I mean, Luna seems to be at the top of those charts, along with the Morphling.
I think Drow is still the pick here. I think
she was banned out, though.
Okay.
Very first ban. Broodmothers were like, screw you and your Drow. You're not getting her.
Okay, I mentioned her twice. Unfortunately, I didn't catch that. But, yeah, so in that case, yeah, Luna definitely is more along the... I think Terrorblade is even better He's
Oh, yeah?
kind of bad against Oracle Sand King, but if you could build a little bit more health on him, then you could still do all right. They're going to go with some they are very comfortable with, though. The Juggernaut is actually one of the most common picks just because it fits into most drafts. It's going to allow you to always push down towers very quickly, and you can make the most of it in a lot of situations. So I like the pickup. It's a lot less flimsy than a Terrorblade, and you're going to be able to go for the mid-game team fights a lot more effectively. But in the meantime, I feel like Broodmothers are kind of getting the exact draft that they want. You're going to be most likely seeing the off-lane Sand King coming out here. I would assume the Mirana is a mid, but it's not always the case. And then, of course, your Oracle is always going to back somebody up. So I think that they're they can play this multiple lane configurations, and they just in general have a laning advantage in most conditions.
An advantage, I'm sure, for a team like Broodmothers. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm on the inside scoop of like the EU scrim scene, but I would imagine a team like Broodmothers probably doesn't get a whole lot of scrim time. I don't know if they're scrimming up often against teams like Empire, but a tier 2, 3 team comes in against some of the more popular teams, and a team like Empire could be looking at Broodmothers and they don't know what to expect, and you're just learning it as you go here. I mean, I only know Broodmothers for a good one game, and I can't help but feel like this is a comfort draft for them. Like, how does that happen? So I'm right there with you. I feel like they're getting exactly what they need. The Mirana is pretty good at being able to spam out answers that would have been like the Terrorblade, who has the heavy illusion base, so they go for the Jug, helps Blade Fury away from, stun lockdown of Sand King, the arrow from Mirana. But yeah, look at this. Broodmothers go right for the Riki pickup now, and what we suspect to be their 4 position. And there's the Luna now coming out from Empire.
So we are going to be seeing G take the Juggernaut to the mid lane. We're going to be seeing Ghost Stick take the Slaughter to the off lane, and Aloha Dance will be playing a signature pickup here in the Luna safe lane. I think that, like I said, Fate Seeded can cause a little bit of difficulty when Luna wants to drop the big Eclipse bombs, but in general, she's really good at just pushing towers, putting out a really early advantage. And I mean, just even the fact that Shadow Demon gets that bonus damage from her Blessing and can zone out heroes a lot more effectively, that's really strong. Like, SK wants to close in and say, hey, you're a short-range carry, I'm going to Caustic harass you and really poke at you, but the amount of right-click damage that comes out from Lunar Blessing makes that very difficult even when the Riki is paired in. So 1 Sentry Ward coming in from the Shadow Demon, and I think that they'll be able to kind of at least contest that lane. Of course, I thought that before in the previous situation, and Ghost Stick was able to run over it. So we'll have to see how it all plays out, but I do think that there's a lot of potential with the Luna in this draft in the laning phase, in the mid-game, late game. The Riki's going to have a hell of a game.
So what are the other options then? We were saying exactly this in the first game for the Sand King. He could end up just bailing and going to the jungle. Is that the worst thing ever if he decides to do that this game? And then Riki, maybe he could be an annoyance to something like the Jug elsewhere, but then you open up options for the Shadow Demon to roam around. So, yeah, I'm really interested to see how Broodmothers are going to be doing the lanes, or if they're going to commit the Sand King into this matchup, because, it looks like a hard matchup, but I thought the last game it was a hard matchup for the Sand King, so... We'll have to see if he kind of sticks to his guns.
Well, we kind of assumed the Kunkka would be more involved in that game. Like, the Omni Knight Kunkka duo worked out, but I expected a lot more, like, Kunkka plus Keeper Light action, because you get the aspect of the mana leak, keeping them locked in position, easy torrent, some good damage, and SK is not going to be able to just kind of bully you back. So I do think that it's going to be a little bit different, because they're going to pick up an actual tri-lane here. Team Empire's last support pickup will tri-lane with the Luna and the Shadow Demon. It only makes sense too. And in this situation, I think that they should be able to kind of at least break even in the 3v2 situation.
Yeah. What will the third component to their tri-lane be then, if that is the case or not? We have yet to await to see what it will be. Final Banzo coming out from Brood. They get rid of the Ogre, who could have been that tough, tanky bodyguard, for that early laning phase. A notable option, but we'll have to see if there's someone else who kind of fits the bill here for Empire to be that person. And lo and behold, an Earth Spirit. Once the Platinum top-tier pickup you couldn't see in early phase without being banned or picked up, now cast it aside. And, I am one of the biggest fans of Earth Spirit. I was one of the biggest fans of Earth Spirit. He definitely has not been what he's used to be, just with where the meta has developed, with what heroes are popular now, with mid laners being so elusive, with the nerfs that he's taken. It's been a tough time for the Earth Spirit. We'll have to see if Empire are going to find any luck with him, but the final spicy pick from Broodmothers Blaze is Fuzzy Wuzzy Ursa.
Yeah, really a great pickup in this situation. I actually was really liking Team Empire's draft, but At the same time, Broodmothers bringing in focus on the Ursa, I feel like it fits the adrenaline and the tempo momentum that they're looking for in this draft. And I love Ursa Oracle. I think that there's so much potential with that because obviously you start off with the False Promise on the Ursa. He's going to be very aggressive. But if he pops the Enrage, he's getting a double healing from Lifesteal and he's taking extremely little damage. So while you usually look at like False Promise is already keeping you alive, people are still going to, generally speaking, lay into that hero. They're going to say, okay, well, yeah, he's going to survive for X amount of time, but as long as we keep DPSing him, he's going to be killed off the second the False Promise ends. Ursa, you can't do that to. He pops the Enrage, and you're just scared. You're just running.
Yeah.
And I feel like Broodmothers have a great chase team, too. Sand King blinking to follow through, Mirana leaping and arrowing, and so on and so forth. Like, it's actually, if Broodmothers start winning a fight, it's going to be hard for Empire to disengage from it, especially with a hero like Luna. She's fast, but she also has to commit really hard when she uses her Eclipse. So at the end of the day, I feel like this Ursa fits everything that Broodmothers needed out of a core hero, and it's going to really just make this a very fast-paced game. I don't think this one's going 60 minutes.
Well, not if Broodmothers have anything to say about it. Certainly so. Empire, though, as we saw from the first game, did kind of coast a bit. I don't know if they felt maybe overconfident with where they were with the AM and the OD, but nonetheless, if they learned anything from game number 1, it's, don't take things lightly against a team like Broodmothers here. And especially now they have a lineup which just really has so much acceleration to it. And Empire are going to have to make sure they kind of keep tabs here. And I can't help it. I am going to be very heavy over the shoulder of this Earth Spirit.
Yeah.
Curious how his early game's going to go, because that is the most important part of the Earth Spirit's game, especially when people put him in that 4 position, is succeeding in the early game, building up that early momentum, and normally it's around pressuring that mid laner, but as mentioned, with mid laners being so elusive now, Mirana with her leap, Blade Furies on Jugs, ways to escape trouble, it's not easy target for him to make the gank. So we'll kind of see what kind of early aggression they can do here. In the meantime, though, Empire have congregated a lot of their pressure towards this top lane, but what they don't know is, Ill is there, creeping behind them, providing all that extra bit of vision. There is a Riki in the game, so Broodmothers will be able to have lots of extra map intel where there is no sentry.
So just going to be a pretty simple bounty rune exchange here, but the fact that the Mirana is going to be able to really get this early extra set of damage and go up against G, where this lane is really usually favored towards the Juggernaut, I feel like if G plays it right, he's going to be able to find a pretty good opening and when he gets level 6. And the big thing here is the Poor Man's Shield against the lower right-click damage. 55 damage on Kaiser. I feel like G, yeah, he's got a melee versus range disadvantage, but he's going to be able to disengage from roaming ganks. He's going to be able to CS better just from raw damage and the fact that he can block and mitigate so much harass. And he does open with the Blade Dance, the crit. So this, I actually feel like where normally you would think of the melee versus range as a really bad matchup, I actually think G can to pull this one out and actually be the one to take the lead. And in the meantime, the side lanes will be where the action happens, where the kills come out.
Oh, I would imagine so. Though Earth Spirit is floating around the mid lane, it would have been nice if he could make an aggressive push during the level 1 of Mirana while she didn't have...
King R, actually, is he dead? No. He's just straight up dead?
Wow, okay. Well, doesn't take too long for us to see some bloodshed here. It's top lane. Shadow Demon goes down, and Ill. Just go ahead and let Empire know that the Riki is on the prowl. You got to be careful.
Yeah, and they don't have active spells. It's actually going to be blocking up the Rolling Boulder here from Ill. They're going to dust up the Riki, who's very low.
Yes, he is. But do they have a way to catch him here? They're trying to snipe him with some poison damage, but King R can't find the target. That one should connect. A few more right clicks, maybe one more poison should secure it. And he does go down 1-1. A nice early trade happens. Meanwhile, back in the lane here, Aloha Dance in a bit of trouble with the return coming out from Relax. He needs a bit more, and he can't get it.
He's going to get it.
Yeah, he got it now. Makes it all the worth right there as the Sand King will crumble down Lady Luna. Tries to go back into the lane, but look who's waiting for him. He quickly stuns right through the both of them. Sidestep the boulder. Roll very nicely done.
They're going to go on King R. He's actually going to get caught up here. They don't have Smoke Cloud still, but this damage from the backstab, the poison, it's going to be enough.
This is the European Dota I've been expecting, Blaze, and it doesn't stop there yet. The Cloud does come out. Relax wants to see if maybe they can make a bit more out of it, and they might be able to. The Earth Spirit getting a lot of damage here from Meeposh. But they pull back in a way here. Nuke's going to catch. Relax will go down to the last right click. Aloha Dance has made his return, but Ill is still standing under the cloud, sidestepping a bit, but he wants to duke it out, and Aloha Dance says, not going to happen. Bops him in the nose with the right click. And finally, the dust will settle here. 4-3 already at about 2.5 minutes in.
Finally gets the last laugh here. Buys himself another salve because he knows that next time he fights, he's going to be very low. And he gets 1,000 gold on top of that in terms of those last 2 kills. But I do really feel like they were kind of underrating the potential of this Sand King and Riki. The Earth Spirit, during that initial engagement, which was supposed to be harassment but turned into a first blood, the Earth Spirit was like in the middle of the jungle, making his way back towards the west. So he was just like planting wards, kind of doing his thing, and he just didn't realize the threat that really was posed by Relax combined with Ill. The Caustic Finale and the Backstab Orb of Venom, like that's just so much a little poking and pinprick damage that adds up really quickly when the slows come out.
Bottom lane, stomp damage here. Ghost could be in a bit of trouble. One more
Got
slash.
him.
Oh! The crush is there, and too much damage from under the tower right now. No easy sashimi for you, sir. He will have to pull back, and the Oracle says, do not move any further, sir. He will live on for now.
Narrowly survives, narrowly gets the crush just before the last fatal auto attack comes out. Very close call on bottom lane, but Slaughter gets the Tranquils, and he should be pretty good in this position. He won't get a lot of farm. The Furious Whites will continue to beat him back, even if it's only a 2 versus 1, but yeah, it's still going to be this starter who should be able to kind of keep himself back and survive. In the meantime, though, Relax going to go for this combo. He gets Caustic on 1, stun on 2, and is going to bring in the Riki to try to get a double.
Walks in. There's going to be the Cloud. A roll for Miposhka, but only level 1 is not going to be doing a whole lot, but they pop the dust once they see Ill. They get a disruption here for Relax. 2-man bonus connection, and then they stun forward. Huge response comes out. Aloha Dance will be able to shoot them down with the nuke. And Relax is also going to be going. Aloha Dance with a double kill here. Things go from bad to worse in the top lane for Broodmothers now.
Yeah, I'm not sure like how good this is. Like, it's usually good for an offlaner just to trade with a support and get something out of the lane, and obviously that's what's happening for the Broodmothers. But in the end, Aloha Dance is 4-1, and while his CS is about half of what it should be, he's getting so much gold out of kills. I think that Empire are pretty happy about this.
I mean, yeah, because you're getting so many kills. Who cares about the farm? Because you're also bringing down your opponent with so much pressure there in the top lane. Bottom, they're still trying to get some work done onto the Slardar. Not going to be able to get that one, but top lane is really where the action's been at here, and I don't suspect it's going to be slowing down one bit. Ill is still at attendance. They're giving the Luna a bit too much here at this point, and they're hoping to find a way to bounce back. And I don't know. Should he start taking his attention elsewhere? He will drop down the obs here in the top lane, but with Sentry still kind of hanging around, we'll have to see if they're still looking for openings or not.
Yeah, they are checking inventories very frequently, I'm sure, keeping an eye on detection. There is no dust. That's the big thing. So they just have to kind of get a better idea of where the sentries are at, and they can kind of fight in those areas that are safe. But right now, the entirety of the lane is covered in sentries, and they're going to have to go for a flank.
Let's see if they can get it here. Ill waits under and behind the trees, but with numbers on the side of Empire here in the top lane, and with ways to bail them out, whether it be the Boulder Smash stun or, of course, a disruption coming out from Shadow Demon. No target's going to be too easy, but now they've rotated in the Oracle, and they're looking to make their move. Burrow Strike in for Aloha Dance. Disruption's out. He fires out the Eclipse. Ill is caught under it a bit, but will be able to get the slash, and they'll take Aloha Dance down. But here comes trouble now from the side of Empire. Ghost 6 shows up, gets off the crush. Not going to be enough quite yet. And they will be able to get it done. The Moonlight Shadow did fire out, but it was not going to be enough to get him away. 7 to 7 hour game breaks back even with Empire coming right back here in the top lane.
Bit of a bad call there from the Sand King go back in. I think they could have just made that a Luna for a Riki. And when Eclipse is involved in that, you got to say that's a great trade. But the SK just a little bit too eager to save his buddy, does end up losing his life in the process, just going right back into it. So obviously that was a pretty smart rotation, bringing the Oracle. And in response, we do see the Slaughter come up top as well. But that just added the burst damage they needed. Just one Purifying Flames to kill off the Luna before the Eclipse took its full effect. And obviously that was a really good kill just to get the Eclipse on cooldown, if nothing else. The Eclipse is such a big cooldown in this game, 140 seconds. We're going to talk about it quite a bit as Luna actually does take down the SK. He's just a little bit too far forward there, does get caught out. Ghost Stick, a nice little stun play. But looking at the length of this game, Luna wants to farm when her Eclipse is off cooldown and fight when it's on, or I reversed that, but she wants to fight when it's off cooldown and she wants to farm when it's on cooldown. And in this position, using Eclipse means that she's going to be just in a very passive position where Broodmothers can take the map.
Yeah. We'll have to see if Broodmothers are going to be able to utilize that kind of positioning and timing with another 45 seconds on that Eclipse cooldown or not. You know, thankful to them while this happens, you know, Ursa in the bottom lane had an uncontested lane for a while, and he continues to grind up a lot of the farm, but he's still not even at the top of the charts because the mid lane, which we haven't been able to chat a whole lot about here, G's Jug has been creeping in the most CS here, 50 and 12 for him. We're on the other side, 35 and 6, but we saw a bit of this in the last game too. G just really stepping up his mid-game performance, but we'll have to see how he's going to transition. And meanwhile, top lane, they're making another move for Aloha Dance. They'll connect with the Blink Strike, and then they move on in with the stun, but don't quite have enough firepower here, and it looks like Ill is going to be taking the response damage there. They take him down, now they look for more, moving in. Oracle going to get hit up with a nuke. Disruption flies out to lock him in place, and they'll hope to finish him off, and it looks like they will. Empire quickly take the lives of 2.
Yeah. Just underestimating the survivability of Aloha there. I mean, all the spells they wanted to connected. The problem is that there was quick response from the side of Empire. They had the defensive disruption if they needed it. And then the Oracle tries to start like salvaging the situation, healing the Riki with the Fate Zedic plus the Purifying Flames. But in that position, when you're already so far extended and you have the chase potential from the Earth Spirit, you actually, the best thing to do is just try to go further onto the Luna. Like, in that position, you're already dead, and you just have to accept that and try to get something for it. Instead, they get nothing. They now are down 3 kills and down a tier 1 tower.
It will be G who does pick up the last hit on that tower. He had rotated to that top
got
lane,
him.
while bottom they get the last little nick right there, and we'll be able to finish out Ghost Chick.
And up top, Riki is not detected at the moment. They have the dust if they think he's blown up, and
not
he
even
is.
necessary. They blow him up, and they're not done there. Looks like they will be able to get Miposhka as a response play, as Marana is able to kind of get into the action now. 0-0 and 1. Time for mid laners to kind of get their hands dirty, it looks like, as G goes back into work into his own mid lane here. The best thing that had been going for Broodmothers is this bottom lane now. With Ursa kind of moving in and making his approach towards taking down a tier 1, we could see Roche on the docket in the near future.
Yeah. She's just so confident here. There's almost no way that they can actually kill him unless the Riki's there. If they start off with a smoke screen, yes, there is potential, but it still requires like 3 abilities to connect on him. So G, he's been swaggering all over this mid lane, focusing a lot more on last hits over denies, whereas OD versus TA, he really wanted to deny the TA as much as possible. Now it's like, just give me that money. Let's get the farm rolling. Let's get some damage out. He's been able to do so much compared to this Marana, who just doesn't have the right-click potential and can't rely on her spells to repel him. So Kaiser will clear out the creep wave, but with this healing ward, they're actually still going to keep pushing on this tier 1.
Oh, yeah.
Bottom.
Seems like they're just going down the docket here. Back at bottom lane, focus, amp damaged, crush down, and then quickly pulls off. Ill will step in, pops out the smoke screen here, but Aloha Dance says, I'm here now to play, pops out the Eclipse. Tries to make a go for Ill, but he runs a bit too far and ahead here. Looking to make chase. Miposhka will catch up with the help of the Boulder Smash, and no smoke screens can be enough to stop him from making his escape, and they're going to quickly string it together with another. Both of them going into the pocket of Aloha Dance as he makes it a sweet double.
Conman once again trying to just keep his ally afloat. He does get a nice little Fortune's End Purge on the amp damage after getting the Fate Edict out on the Eclipse, but end of the day, the Earth Spirit just follows through with that Dust of Appearance and stays right on top of him. Now we just look at the net worth graph overall to get a pretty good picture of where the game's at. Luna has gotten so much over these 10 minutes. Like, yeah, she only has 63 CS, but she's 8-2 and 4. Like, this hero has been involved in 12 kills of their 13 in not even 11 minutes time. It's not just CIS Dota.
She hasn't even had to go anywhere. That's all in the top lane, pretty much. I mean, with the exception there at the end, it's just like all of the kills and all the action has come to her and on her lap. And it started, for the most part, to be very positive for Broodmothers, kind of getting in her face a bit, but a couple of maybe some bad calls or decision-making has kind of led Aloha Dance to be in a position where she's always there at the right time to get that last little hit in, and suddenly she's turning into quite the farm lady. And Empire have been kind of building up a momentum where they're not trying to slow the pace here. They're getting all the tier 1s right away and already looking to nerf down the vision here from Broodmothers, especially when they have a lineup with the Ursa, who needs to kind of be able to control a bit of the map if they want to secure something like the Roche. So I would imagine Empire playing everything right now.
Ursa plays much better from ahead, that's for sure. But I just kind of feel like it's a lesson to be learned from like the Tusk meta. That dual offlane pressure is really, really good, but you overextend a little bit, you just push it a little too far, and you're the one feeding. And in the end, yeah, they got their kills. Yeah, this Shadow Demon is a little unhappy with 3 deaths, and same with the Air Spirit, but this Luna is just high and mighty, and it's going to be very difficult to deal with it as she rapidly approaches level 11. That's what, in my mind, where the Eclipse and the hero really starts being that most prevalent force that she can be. Like, yeah, early laning phase, the Lunar Blessing's cool, but a lot of carries bring something to the laning phase. Sven stun or a Blade Fury spin. Luna, what she really brings is with that ultimate, and when it gets to that second point. Level 11, the Lucent Beam goes up to 8. 8 plus 1 cast means 9 Lucent Beams in a fight, which is just a massive amount of magic damage that Broodmothers don't have the wherewithal to deal with unless Fate's Edict is used perfectly.
I don't know if that kind of opportunity is going to be there for the Broodmothers or not. But given the situation that they've been putting up to this point, Blaze, and you're looking at someone like Luna building up so farm, is it on them to address it and just kind of begin to build the pressure for Luna, or do they have to just take their business and I don't know, be more greedy, try to get something better together here for the Mirana for a bit of a counterplay? I know she's trying to race towards this Agnum Scepter, but you know, what's in their best interest right now to be able to slow the roll of Empire?
That's the problem, is they don't want a slow roll. They do want to stall out Empire's advantage.
Yeah.
But the problem is, unless they're like getting perfect burst combos on the Luna when there isn't a Shadow Demon disruption to save her, it's going to be really difficult. I feel like right now, the couple key items, obviously, when Sankey can move towards a Blink Dagger, that'll be great. Right now, he's banked up 1470 in gold, so like it's not impossible for him to get that in the next few minutes, but other than that, you can try to smoke and sneak a Roshan, or you could just try to get a kill and turn it into a Roshan really quickly with the Ursa. But in general, it's really just finding those little pickoffs where Empire don't expect them and making moves that they can't read.
We'll have to see if they're going to be able to make these kind of moves or not. Moonlight Shadow will be up in a couple of seconds. I don't know if it's in their interest to kind of use it offensively for any sort of setup or not, but they are kind of coming together here towards this mid lane. Pings are had.
Wow, are they really doing this? They have the amp damage. They have a Dominator Troll to actually tank this up, and they're going for it. This is something you would never see in a normal situation. I mean, yes, Slardar is fast at Roshan, but they just say, hey, we saw a couple heroes top lane with a very nice laning Observer Ward, so yeah, we'll go for Rosh, and they're going to be able to take it too.
A hard hit to the morale of Broodmothers if that's the case here. Oh, they popped the Moonlight Shadow as Ricky had been watching from the outskirts, just out of the range of that sentry. But Broodmothers are here now. Empire posturing up a bit as if there could be an approach, but Broodmothers know that it is not safe to make this kind of a move. And that's a hard hit for them. We're going to be going into nighttime now, and we're going to be moving into Empire, advancing on forward with the help of an Aegis. As they turn the corner, they're going to see Focus right there. They blast him with the Purge. They hit him with a Lucent Beam. Not looking to commit in a whole lot more on top of it just yet, but now they roll on forward, and they'll get the job done. And again, it's going to be Aloha Dance who picks it up. Boulder smash into an Omni Slash. It's poetic almost, if you will, Blaze.
It is.
They quickly
it most
take
certainly
down
is. That's just a sick combo, brings them down as sharply as your words. And I just got to commend Empire for these really great wards they placed out. When Miposhka was dying between the tier 1 and the tier 2 on top lane a while ago, as we do see Sand King does get dropped down, but he did drop down an Observer Ward on the top lane that was so critical for the past 2 minutes, because they saw 2 or 3 heroes moving past this wards towards the top lane, and they immediately moved for Rosh, which they've already prepped by placing a ward towards the bottom rune area as well as into the Radiant jungle. This Radiant Jungle Ward then allows them to jump on the Ursa, perfectly killing him off before any rebuttal can come through from Broodmothers, and it's just a perfect exchange for Empire. They're able to just turn one good thing into 3, and now they're pushing down the bottom tier 2 to make it 4.
Empire definitely looking to shake off what could have been their own rust from game number 1 as they come out really firing on all cylinders at this point. 16-9, and Aloha Dance really being involved in the majority of all that.
And another ward that's going to the smoke breaks. And Focus is now all by himself.
There is no safe approach here from Broodmothers. Empire have the vision across the board right now. They step back in a way to avoid the smoke screen and the onslaught there from Focus, but he's getting slowed down and kited quite a bit, and it will get slashed apart. Aloha Dance again picks up the last hit on that one. And all of the momentum built up from Broodmothers in game number 1 is quickly being put to a halt here, as Empire should be able to clean out this tier 2 in the bottom lane.
And I gotta say that I am not too happy about the Mascabanis pickup on the Ursa. Well, this used to be a really good item pickup when you were ahead on Ursa. Again, this hero is playing from behind in a situation, and he's up against a Shadow Demon, which means that with the additive factor of these damage multipliers, you have Soul Catcher and Mask of Madness almost completely erasing the Enrage mitigation. So he's not any tankier when he's popping Enrage. He's just surviving at his normal health value despite those two very big pain setters. So now Aloha Dance with Eclipse going in, but we're going to see the SK come out first.
This is everything coming out from Broodmothers to try to hold what they can and make their move on to Empire. They will be able to take down G, which is a good prized hit. Not as prized as Aloha Dance, who is so low and almost losing that Aegis. Looks like they might not be able to get it, but they will be able to get a follow-up takedown. Turn around Eclipse comes out, though, from Aloha Dance and quickly nukes down the Sand King, but they're not done yet. Broodmothers continue to make their chase. They will be able to burst down the Aegis, and they get the follow-up kill, taking down Little Shadow Demon. They did notice Miposhka ran on the side. Nice boulder smash.
Wow.
Connects on to 2. Aloha Dance tries to stand, plant, and fight, but it is not nearly enough. Broodmothers will take their biggest fight of this game. Miposhka will be able to make it out, but 4 lives are going to be claimed, and a good network swing will go back the way of the Radiant.
Yeah, I thought they might have been able to see it with the Observer where they planted on the high ground, but the Sand King is still able to get the epi combo of his dreams and is able to dish out so much damage in that fight. 1,700 just from the Sand King alone, allowing the Mirana to do that much more. She had the Aghanim, she's able to do the burst follow through every single time that Starstorm and that Aghanim's effect comes up. She's just pouring it on, and Empire crumbled very quickly, despite the Aegis and despite the Eclipse.
Okay, G's got to be careful here. Good timing on the Blade Fury.
But he doesn't have
trouble
TP.
Was coming, but yeah, as mentioned, he does not have a ticket to make it out, but he does have some help nearby. It is going to be scouted, of course, by Ill, who is continuing to lurk, but Empire not looking to back down quite yet. Even after losing their Aegis and taking a hard hit on the nose there in the bottom lane. They're on a mission here to clear out this tier 2. Jumping Crush goes out, follow up, good boulder smash.
They don't actually see him though.
But yeah, that's really all they can make out of it. They drop a sentry now, but it's a bit too late to be able to get the follow-up for Ricky.
They have one in the trees there, so they were able to get a glance at him, but he was able to just move past it, and they were only able to hit him with the ground target or AoE abilities. So unfortunately, they can't actually clean him up and take a tier 2 for themselves, but they're still going to be controlling the map despite their wipe. Like, they had such a big advantage that despite the mishap that happened when approaching high ground, they're actually in an okay spot here.
Good jump in from Miposhka to spot out Focus when he wanted to move to the side shop to make a retreat. Now he will lose his own life for it, though. Ghost Chick's hoping to be there to help pick up the pieces. G will be here just in case, but they will finally bring him down. Miposhka happy to trade his own life for that kill, but a hard one to take. He was trying to build up a lot of money there. It looks like he did make a bit of an investment on the Ursa, but nonetheless, still lacks behind in the raw firepower when you look at what's happening here on Empire.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Empire still looking pretty good overall. I mean, their net worth advantage has been stifled quite a bit. We were talking about a way to slow their roll, and a 4-man wipe on the high ground of the Radiant side certainly will accomplish that. But I still feel like if you're going to be able to do something with heroes like Mirana and Ursa, you're going to be needing to gain an advantage very, very soon. Right now, Empire are still in complete control, and despite a nice little sandstorm here, it looks like it is going to be the Sand King that, he gets the blink away. The Purge won't lock him down.
Getting good damage. That Fate's Edict might be enough, but now they'll blast down King R. Eclipse, though, does fly out from Aloha Dance, will help get the takedown of the Oracle here. Ill casually trying to run past under the vision with the help of the smoke screen. Doesn't get a stun help there from Sand King, and Broodmothers are still fighting all out here. They're going for Aloha Dance after they already taken down 3. Will they get the kill? It looks like they will. It's going to be Kaiser who picks up the double. Miposhka shows the stone, but he does show up a bit too late to help that one. 2 4-man takedowns in a row here, Blaze, for Broodmothers.
And the gold swing keeps going. I mean, that's just massive. Over 2,500 gold going the way of Broodmother by comparison to what Empire lost. And we got to look at the fact that simply the SK being able to disengage there, it set the fight up for them so well. Because they were all clumped up into a smoke cloud, and then he was able to re-engage his next blink with multiple burrow strikes. The smoke screens and the burrows really just made that fight work for them, and it's because the SK and the Riki could get the distance they needed to. Riki, very nice use of the tricks of the trade. When he was completely under fire, he just dives right back in and starts killing off the Shadow Demon. But really, relaxed, really redeeming himself for any misplays he's made before, as he made one great epicenter play on the high ground, and now is just making the full use of his burrow strike in and out of the fight.
Sand King continues to make a good case for why he is certainly in the meta, and certainly the first phase pickup that we've been seeing already in these first 2 games. As Broodmothers, as we were mentioning, still onus on them to be able to kind of continue the pressure and get a lot done, particularly in the back of this Mirana and Ursa combo here. With Ags coming together for the Mirana now and a Blink Dagger. Build about 1,600 gold here. And we'll have to see as they make a smoke approach towards this mid lane. Empire close.
Oh, they say Riki.
They do see the Riki. Coach to leave things in with a full combo. Tries to burst him down, but there will be the false promise. He even goes into the tricks of the trade just to be safe. Jumping comes out, though. Good connection. Arrow, though, going to be off the mark, it looks like. Quick Omni response comes out from G, and will take down the Oracle. And Ill says, I got to get the hell out of here, and runs back and away.
And not the ideal setup. It would have been really good if not for that sentry ward planted by Mavoshka. Essentially, the Riki had full eyes on the Luna farming the Ancients, so they're smoking up, they're going in. They have this really great position to fight in near these steps. But essentially, the Riki gets caught out, and it changes where the fight takes place. They're suddenly strung out on this kind of narrow path here, where suddenly the Riki is compromised, the Oracle has to die for his sins, and then they just have to fully disengage from them. So Empire have their cake and eat it too. They get to take down the Ancient stack, and Luna should be able to complete that Manta style very shortly if she doesn't just outright go for the BKB.
That's a shame. Had that been a few more seconds later, it could have been Broodmothers' crafty approach there to being able to catch out Empire, with hopefully a sentry not being in that place. But nonetheless, Empire's still there, and they're controlling what looks like the Roshan territory. We do have a little bit more time before it pops up, but they are looking to kind of control this area of the map in particular. While Broodmothers will try to continue their own pressure here. Still a tier 1 on the bottom lane for them to pick up. Very, very low. But it looks like they're just trying to get their own bearings about them. Yeah. Top lane, they're collided as 3, kind of farming on forward here, but not really feeling like they're kind of pushing the pace of this game at the moment.
Yeah, Riki was really hungry for a pick between the tier 2 and 3 on the top lane. They're not going to find it. Instead, SK and Mirana will just push things out. Ghostic will be able to just kind of get the full experience for that. No arrows coming anytime soon.
Empire's still here, though. I mean, it looks like they're hanging around mid lane. They'll farm some Ancients, and they'll just wait out for maybe the Roche to come back up. As long as they're keeping the Roche on their side and away from the hands of someone like this Ursa, they still feel pretty good about being able to hold the overall momentum of the game. G, this time, looks like an early defusal is going to be picked up for him. Game 1, itemization of it came a bit late considering there was an Omni on the other side, but doesn't look to wait too long grabbing it in this game on his jug.
Yeah, so in this situation, it's kind of much more oriented around the fighting Juggernauts than the pushing ones. We didn't see a Battlefield on the previous Juggernaut either, so in this case, there's just like Manta Defusal, get in the fight. They know there's going to be a lot of action, a lot of kills around this 20, 30-minute mark, so it's best to really just push that advantage while you can. We're going to be seeing G actually scout things out on bottom, sees the Oracle, could just straight up Omni slash kill him.
Just do it! Oh,
you want it. He's got TD, he's got to go for this.
Just
Come on.
Do it! Hits him once, pops out the Omni.
Oh, lucky.
Enough. My God, the RNG's there with him. There was a full set of creeps right there to help mitigate all that damage, but he does get a forgiving slash there and finishes off the crude little support. Does end up coming a bit of a trade, though, because while that was happening, Aloha Dance did end up going down the other side. Meanwhile, Ill connected with a nice crush. That sentry that had been there to spot him out during the ancient camp, it's still there, buddy, and it does its job.
Yeah, and they had the Observer with it to boot. So Observer sentries make the world go round when you're playing up against these heroes that have so a long duration invisibility. So Slark moving around the map, Riki, Bounty, whatever. So really great to find him out there. But we're going to be seeing now they want to go here on mid.
Focus tries to swing back up and around to rendezvous with the rest of his team. And we'll be safe there.
I think they're going to look at Roshan now. They know that Omni Slash is on cooldown. Epicenter was used on the Luna when she died top lane. I think it was just like an Epicenter, Burrow Strike, and Starstorm that was enough to bring her down. But with those spells on cooldown, now they can look at the pit. And I think Empire, up against an Ursa lineup, are going to take Roshan 1 and 2.
That's crazy. But that is what they need to do. They had the opportunity. They move into the pit. The Roche at about half of its life. Broodmothers en route. Can they make it in time? It does not look like it. With the amp damage coming out, it's simply just too much. An arrow will fly, but that's not anything it will get. And look at this, a nice little response play. They're even going to spot out little Riki nearby, and they will take him down, chew him up, and spin him right out.
Look at all these sentries. This is a death trap right here. This is just absolutely devastating for Riki. He can't move in this entire quadrant of the map. He has to be afraid of the entirety of this bottom right area because there are sentries massed everywhere. Obviously concentrated here, but you know it's not going to be too long before they just pick up a gem. The way they're investing so hard in this detection already.
Who gets the gem, though, at this
It's
point?
tough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
I think the Earth Spirit has to carry it, but the Slardar is also an option.
they'll roll with it for now. And he will go right to work to making sure they can constrict the vision even further here from the Broodmothers. It puts Ricky in that really solid position of what he can really do to contribute, aside from like some clutch smoke screens and the chaotic fights here. But with only 900 life to kind of fall back on, and with so much AoE spread and serious damage that could be coming out from Empire here, he will not be able to really hold a candle to the assault that Empire could bring. So already Aloha Dance and Shadow Demon Gaming is before us, Blaze, in all of its wonderful glory.
Yeah, but with the sub patch, one thing to keep in mind is that the disruption illusions are not as tanky as they used to be. They're a lot easier to bring down. So while this slow siege will make it so that's much harder for Relax to find the epicenter that he dreamed of before, I do feel like it's something that they can deal with. There is Dragonlance on the Luna, so they will get that attack range. But in the end, when they bring them up to the high ground, it's easier to kill them off for sure. You see that Starstorm go to work.
For now, Broodmothers move in and out, hoping to clear out these creeps. They pull them all the way back and away from the lane, but Aloha Dance with the Glaives coming out through. A jump in for Ill, and they'll take them out quick. A response play comes out. Epicenter flying forward here from Relax. Not nearly enough damage to do work on the Empire here, and this could be the final hurrah for Broodmothers if they can't hold it. Focus nearly goes down. False Promise will keep him back and alive, but here comes the Mighty Eclipses, begins to fire on forward. Can't get any additional damage really on the Focus, who barely lives and waddles back into the fountain. The problem is that the damage, it has certainly been done with a double kill coming into the pocket of Aloha Dance. They will be able to move in and clear out the first set of racks here in the bottom lane.
That gem did so much work. They put it on the Slardar. He finds the Riki, kills him off, forces a buyback. I think the Riki only got one smoke that entire fight and didn't get to use his ultimate. So it's really hard in that situation to really salvage, because you already have so much damage and you have that second life coming out from the Luna. Now she's got Manta, she's got BKB, still has Aegis, and they're going to be pushing the mid lane. In this position, Broodmothers have to be shaking. They've lost their bottom lane. They don't have the cores that can really take it late, and they are just further behind than any team should be in this position.
Yeah, it's going to be YOLO mode real quick here for Broodmothers if they can't figure out any sort of crazy game plan to slow the roll of Empire at this point. This looks like it could end up being a 1-for-1 two-game split, but we'll see. Empire make their move in, smoke screen.
Actually, Ghostic might just kill off Slardar straight up. Yeah, Relax. He will be going down far away from home, gets caught out, and that's just going to be a free lane of Rax, I think.
It really is. I mean, Aloha Dance begins the Demolition Man here. A jump in from behind by Focus leads to a nice little pick on the Shadow Demon. It isn't going to be enough, though, because Aloha Dance continues to go to work. The Glaive slicing on forward. The Bear has to get right back to safety. Poor little Ricky is just put into mincemeat, and that will be game. The towel has been thrown in from the Broodmothers, and Empire will take game number 2 and force this two-game series into a 1-1 split.
Yep. So to clarify something that some viewers won't fully understand is that in two-game series, we're just going to play the 2 games and that's it. Although it is 1-1, it will remain unresolved unless we have to go to tiebreakers on like Friday. So right now, 2 games have been played between Empire and Broodmothers. They each get a point off of that, and they're going to take that to the bank for the remainder of the group stage. Next up is going to be Vega versus Empire here, and we'll see if they're going to be able to show some of their strength that they displayed in Game 2 compared to the weaknesses in Game 1 in that matchup, which, in my mind, is going to be even more intense.
Oh, for sure. I mean, it's hard to really gauge now based on game number 1 if Empire were coming into this matchup a bit lightly or if Broodmothers are that kind of a crafty team. But now when you're going against a team like Vega, who did have a bit of a roster swap, we will be able to go more into that as the game does happen. Empire are going to have a lot of work cut out for them. So I'm very interested to see how that 2-game series is going to go. But that wraps things up for just our first series today. The rust is hopefully shaken off. We're getting excited about Dota all over again as the season is underway, and so is the BTS Europe series. We'll cut to a small break, and when we come back, it's going to be Empire versus Vega with myself, KotLGuy, and Blaze Casting. We'll see you soon.